Alright, welcome to this tab of Conceptual Imaginary Advanced Astrology, where I'm going to be going over the Axiom Library, which is essentially Chronicles of Fractured Cosmos, an exhaustive compendium of astrological realities, and this is a foreword by the Phantom Librarian. So, what if history were not a single thread, but a tapestry woven from 12 distinct cosmic dyes? What if the movement of the heavens was not merely a clockwork observed, but a lock mechanism that could be turned to different settings, each opening a door to a different destiny for consciousness itself? In our consensus reality, designated Prime Terra by dimensional cartographers, we experience time as a linear progression through the great year, the 25,800-year cycle of the precession of the equinoxes. We are, as our astronomers tell us, drifting from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. This is our truth. But it is not the truth. In 1582, during the final deliberations of the Gregorian Calendar Commission, Jesuit astronomer and mystic Aloysius Lilius made a discovery that would shatter cosmic unity. While calculating solar years, he identified an anomaly in the precessional constant. The stars were not slipping backward at a steady pace. They were responding to a hidden variable, the aggregate focus of human belief. The zodiac was not a fixed backdrop, but a malleable framework. The equinox point could, in theory, be anchored. Presented with this revelation, Pope Gregory the 13th faced a theological and existential crisis. To allow the drift was to accept humanity's passive role in a shifting cosmos. I don't think that was 13. I think it is 13. Hang on a second. No fucking Roman numerals. I've been doing this for so many months. It's insane. I don't ever have these memorized. But I'm pretty sure it's X is 10 and V is 5. So I know that is trying to say it's 13. At least I'm really hoping I'm close. To whoever's watching this in a few years and you're like, bro, you're so wrong. Well then, whatever. Anyways, just know this is a theoretical, conceptual thing. I'm just having fun talking about advanced astrology with you guys. So, to lock the equinox was to defy natural law and impose a permanent archetypal season upon the solar civilization. His decision to let the precession continue created our world. But in the moment of that choice, the unselected possibilities did not vanish. They crystallized, each becoming the foundational law of a parallel continuum, a sister Earth born from a different astrological premise. This anthology collects the chronicles of those 11 sibling realities and the one that should have been, each born from locking the vernal equinox to a different zodiacal sign, creating a perpetual age defined by its ruling archetype. These are not mere fantasies, they are extrapolations, rigorous and detailed, of what human society becomes when a single celestial principle becomes the eternal, unchanging sun around which all culture, technology, biology, and psychology orbits. So welcome to the Axiom Library. I'm glad to have you here. If you're watching this video, mind the threshold. The stories within may remember you. So first we have Volume 1, which I'm calling the Aries Lock, the Perpetual Dawn. Timeline designation, Alpha Ram, anchored equinox, about 0 degrees Aries. Exactly on March 21st, 1583 CE. Cosmological principle. The cardinal fire initiation is rendered permanent. The universe is understood as a project to be begun, a frontier to be charged. Dominant archetype. The warrior, the pioneer, the assertive self. Okay. Detailed historical divergence. The papal bull Aeternum Aries firmly declare the equinox fixed. This theological assertion of celestial stasis triggered not peace, but a perpetual cultural ignition. By the way, this is my detailed historical divergence. The scientific revolution never matured into the Enlightenment's structured philosophies. Instead, it became the eternal Renaissance, a ceaseless, aggressive pursuit of firsts without consolidation. Excuse me. Newton, for instance, Isaac, never codified his laws into a monolithic system. He published a series of ever more radical initial propositions, each deliberately overturning the last in a public spectacle of intellectual combat. Societal structure. Society is organized into vanguard clans, not nations. Status is determined by pioneering achievements, not just discovery, but being first to apply it. Governance is a rotating first chair position held by whichever clan leader has most recently demonstrated a transformative breakthrough. Law is based on precedence of action. The first person to declare a new form of contract, for instance, says its binding terms for all subsequent iterations. There is no president or king, only the primus, the individual currently undertaking the most ambitious, probable endeavor. Technological and biological manifestations. Energy. Mastery of impulsive, sudden energy release. Combustion engines are highly refined, but electricity remains wild and direct. Massive, dramatic arcs power cities and spectacular, dangerous displays. Battery technology is primitive. Energy is used immediately or lost. Medicine. Focus on trauma response, surgery, and adrenaline epinephrine systems. Psychological care involves controlled aggression outlets. Diseases of stagnation, cancers, arterial plaques, are the great plagues of this world. Architecture. Temporary, modular, and forward-oriented. Cities are mobile camps on a colossal scale, designed to be dismantled and moved toward the next frontier, which may be geographical, intellectual, or artistic. Monuments are forbidden. The greatest honor is to have your creation replaced by a better one. Let's talk about the Mars principle. So Mars never appears retrograde in the sky. So its orbit, influenced by the locked archetype, is perfectly circular and direct. Consequently, the concept of internalized conflict, reflection, or passive aggression is neurologically alien. All conflict is externalized, ritualized, and decisive. War is a high art dueling format broadcast globally. Economic competition takes the form of public challenge tournaments. This has prevented mass warfare but created a society of relentless, exhausting public performance. Key narrative, the Libra Gambit. Protagonist, Kalen Vex, a diplomatic emissary from the diplomatic rule timeline of Prime Libra. There is going to be more volumes to this, so stay tuned. Accidentally trapped in Alpha Ram during a rare dimensional conflict. His mission is to retrieve a stolen Harmony Crystal, a Prime Libra artifact that stabilizes social consensus. And Alpha Ram is seen as a coward's tool. To recover it, he must enter the Grand Melee, the annual planet-wide tournament to determine the year's primus. Theses. Kalen cannot throw a punch to save his life. His strategy is to lose brilliantly. He uses Libran tactics, negotiation, aesthetic, subversion, and forming unexpected alliances between rival clans to turn the tournament's aggressive rules against itself. And what is Libra, really quick? While we're here, let's actually help you learn this. Very slowly, I take my channel very slowly. It's air, and it's also what house? 7th house. And what planet? Venus. So, God, I'm pretty sure I'm coming down with the cold because I'm so tired of being in Minnesota. As you've seen in my other videos, I talk about advanced astrocartography. I'm using my own natal chart in one of them. And I've even done Minnesota's astrocartography, and it's just so booty cold here. I fucking hate it. I'm so tired of it. My natal chart is completely unaligned with Minnesota. It is not like I've seen some success here. Like I met some cool people here, but my soul fundamentally in my astrological chart does not show that I would be here. So anyways, at least if I want true wealth for myself. So Kalen wins not by defeating opponents, but by making the very concept of winning the tournament seem like a primitive, unambitious goal. His actions inadvertently introduced the first sustained political alliance in Alpha Ram's history, a seismic shift that begins to slow its relentless burnout pace. Here's an excerpt. The arena wasn't stand or steel. It was a shifting maze of kinetic sculptures that attacked competitors, a testament to Clan Metallica's latest first in aggressive architecture. Kalen dodged a piston fist, not with a warrior's roll, but with a curator's sidestep. "Marvelous," he shouted to the sculptor in the observation tower, "the violence of the angle against the implied flow of the base material. You are not just fighting us, you are fighting form itself." The piston hesitated. The sculptor, Brecht, leaned over the rail. "What did you say?" "You've made conflict aesthetic," Kalen continued, parrying a swinging beam by leaning into its rhythm, becoming part of its motion. "But isn't the greater ambition to make collaboration aesthetic? To build something this magnificent that requires 4 clans to operate it, not just to survive it?" In the stands, the roaring began to splinter into conversation. Brecht stared. No one had ever commented on the theory mid-melee. They fought, they won, they lost. Kalen was doing something alien, he was critiquing, and in Alpha Ram, a novel form of engagement was, by definition, a potential first. The scoring orbs hovering above him flickered, then recalibrated. They weren't measuring damage inflicted anymore, they were measuring novelty of interaction. For the first time in 400 years, the rules were changing in real time. So, if you enjoyed volume 1, you're going to enjoy the rest of these volumes. Because, like I already said in the description when we started this is an anthology, an advanced astrology, conceptual, imaginary genius, innovative anthology that I literally, this has multiple volumes in it. So the second volume is the Taurus Eternity, the Unmoved Earth. And it has the same structure for pretty much all the volumes where I'm going over this stuff to help you guys understand. Now, this is just the beginning. So just making sure here. Wow, I hope that I make it to fucking Phoenix, Arizona before Minnesota kills me. So this is the Taurus Eternity, where the timeline designation is Beta Bull. The anchored equinox is at 0 degrees of Taurus, April 20th, 1583 CE. And if you can remember, I'll just underline it. Our timeline designation we were just talking about was for the Aries lock, the perpetual dawn, Alpha Ram, with the anchored equinox being 0 degrees Aries, March 21st, 1583 CE. So the cosmological principle for Taurus eternity is the fixed Earth becomes the permanent foundation. Value, substance, and persistence are the supreme cosmic laws. And now we're talking about Taurus, which is also Venus, Earth. And I know some people would say Taurus is feminine, but I'd beg to differ because I have a Taurus ascendant at late degrees. There is something with the ascendant being masculine in Taurus. Also androgynous. Even though it's Venus, okay? If you want a more feminine Venus, Libra, for sure. Sun, moon, or rising would be more feminine than Taurus, in my opinion. And that's just coming from me. I have my fucking ascendant at 25 or 26 degrees, and I have Algol right on my ascendant. If you know what Algol is, it's an evil star. You don't want to have it, to be honest. Taurus doesn't do very good in the ascendant either, so every day is just fucking uncomfortable for me in general. But anyways, I also have a Pisces sun and a shit ton of fucking other Pisces placements. If you know me, Pisces stellium in the 11th house. Anyways, dominant archetype of Taurus: the builder, the banker, the sensualist, and the gardener. Yes, Taurus is wealth, okay? Look at me trying to fucking spell. Jesus Christ. And it's love. It's all the things that Venus likes, because Venus is happy when it's what? Relaxed. Whatever that means for the native. Okay? So let's talk about a detailed historical divergence. I'll just go ahead. We're pretty much talking about societal structure, that historical divergence, technological and biological manifestations again. This time the Venus principle, with the key narrative being the prodigal stone. Excuse me, here's an excerpt. The aspect plans. I don't want to get too deep into my plans for this, but just know I have more stuff on this coming. So, the lock created immediate geological and economic stability. The tulip mania of the 1630s never crashed. It became the basis of the solidity market, where the value of a thing is intrinsically tied to its physical durability and sensory appeal. The Industrial Revolution was not about mass production, but about artisanal amplification, creating machines that could perfectly reproduce master-crafted items without variance. Capitalism evolved into materialism in the philosophical sense, a society where your worth is quite literally the sum and quality of your possessions, which are considered extensions of your soul. Societal structure: a rigid, stable stratarchy based on material accumulation. There is no upward mobility, only depth acquisition. The oldest families literally live in deeper, more fortified, and more beautifully appointed underground complexes. And the surface is for agriculture, art parks, and the novice layers of society. Law is property law. Every relationship is a contract of mutual material benefit. Marriage is a merger of estates. Children are legally appreciating assets. So, God forbid. Let's talk about our technological and biological manifestations for this Taurus entity. So we have, again, we were talking about energy just before, medicine and agriculture and climate. Alright. So, with energy, there's geothermal and there's kinetic energy, and it's from planetary rotation, and it's primary. Everything is built to last millennia. Technology is beautiful, tactile, and heavy. There are no smartphones, but there are soul mirrors, exquisitely carved personal stones that warm in your hand when your chosen contacts are near. And in fact, this is going into basically soul family crystals, or soul family alignment, in my opinion. So, the medicine, focusing on longevity, cellular stability and sensory enhancement. The greatest medical achievement is the persistence cure, which halts entropy at the cellular level. People living for centuries aging imperceptibly but must pay enormous material taxes to the state for the resources required to sustain them. Because why? Nobody can actually do what? Live forever. Unless you're filled with fucking Henrietta Lacks cells. Shout out to Yasser. He made a whole song about this. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, Henrietta Lacks. These are cells that are essentially eternal. If I'm getting my... I don't know. Anyways. The seasons... Oh, this is for agriculture and climate. The seasons are purely thermal. They're not zodiacal. The locked Taurus principle, because again, Taurus, that earth sign that is known to be what? S-T-U-B-B-R-N. Stubborn. They get that reputation. Has been made Earth's biosphere incredibly fertile but slow. Forests grow in precise geometric patterns. Storms are rare. Weather is a gentle, predictable pattern of nurturing rain and sun. Natural disasters are viewed as the planet's repossession of poorly managed assets. So now let's get into the Venus principle and then my key narrative, which is essentially just an excerpt of a longer anthology, fully fledged out, detailed, brought to you via YouTube like an audiobook, and we'll get that going. But in the meantime, I have some other content coming out that is also very important. So all my videos are very important in my opinion. So I know I'm gonna hopefully get a few viewers on this, which I appreciate. Every 94 of you. I mean, I appreciate everybody. So the Venus principle. Now Venus rules both love and war. Okay? Here, in this conceptual alternate timeline reality, so war is economic siege. The careful, beautiful strangulation of an opponent's resources. A declaration of war involves sending a rival family a masterfully crafted but functionally useless artifact that drains their energy grid to maintain. Love is the ultimate acquisition. Courting involves gifting layers of meaning. First a useful object, then a beautiful one, then a rare one, then an ancient one, then finally a uniquely crafted object that symbolizes the merger of both parties' material essence. The prodigal stone. My protagonist, her name is Alara again, and I feel like I've used that name in a lot of other videos, so let's just say her name is Laser. This is a name that I really like for some reason. Laser Diesel. So Laser Diesel, a geomancer, a scientist who reads history and future probability in crystal lattices from the deep strata. So she essentially discovers a flaw in the Ever Foundation, which is essentially a rare mineral she ends up finding, which is a void quartz. It's appearing in the deep mines. It doesn't just lack value, it absorbs and nullifies the resonant value of anything near it. The Stratarchs see it as a contaminant to be purged. Alara's reading suggests it's a symptom. The locked earth is becoming so dense, so fixed, it's generating pockets of anti-stability. A cosmic immune response. Alara must... Oh. God. Laser Diesel must embark on a heretical surface journey, a sign of poverty, to find the mythical gemstone oracle, a living crystal formation set to record all planetary movements. She believes it can diagnose the planetary sickness. Her journey forces her to experience impermanence. Sounds familiar for me. Poverty and the fleeting beauty of surface life, like weather and decay. Values anathema to her society. She discovers the oracle is not a recording device, but a seed. a blueprint for a different, more fluid relationship with matter, waiting for a civilization mature enough to unlock it without collapsing into chaos. Pretty good. So, here's more on this. The void quartz in her palm didn't feel cold, it felt like absence. It didn't reflect light, it drank the very idea of luminance from the air around it. In her stratified suite, 3 miles down, surrounded by the hum of perpetual stability, it was a terrifying hearsay. Her diagnostic tools, golden-laid resonators that could sing the history of a diamond formation, went silent near it, not broken, hushed. It's not a flaw, she whispered to the stratified air. It's a correction. The stratarchs would have her liquefied for less. Stability was the supreme virtue. Yet her training told her that absolute stability in any system led to eventual catastrophic collapse. The earth was not a vault, it was a body, and bodies that never moved, never shed, never changed, died. She packed not with valuable items, but with necessities. A durable coat, nutrient paste, simple kinetic torch. To go to the surface was to become a non-entity. But the oracle, if the myths were true, was the planet's memory of motion. She would trade all her depth for that memory. And then this anthology is going to continue in this exhaustive, detailed fashion for all 12 volumes, exploring the societal, technological, psychological, and narrative implications of each zodiacal age. And each volume is going to include a full historical divergence timeline from 1583 to the present, which is 2026, but by the time I'm done with this, it might not be until like 2027, because I have so much other shit to do. Maybe it'll be later this year, mid to late this year, if I can't find any other stuff to do. But if not, it'll be early 2027 that I get all 12 videos out. So then we have a detailed societal structures, laws, and cultural norms, the transformed role of the ruling planet in the altered astronomical reality, the diminished or distorted expression of the opposing sign, Libra in the Aries lock, Scorpio in the Taurus lock, etc. And again, for those that have no idea what I'm even talking about, astrology. We're talking about, what do I have? Here we go. So when we say opposing signs, opposing zodiac signs, that would mean, for example, like I'm going to give you my Rahu, which is my north node of the moon, and it's in red. I'm writing this because I have it in Aries, and Aries opposing zodiac sign is Libra, and that would make it my Ketu, which is south node of the moon for me. And this is also what they say is with Rahu and Ketu, that's just an axis. So now I have Libra, I have Aries and Libra in my Rahu and Ketu, my north and south node. So I'd say that I have this placement by saying these planets are working together because they're opposing signs, but they're in the north and south axes. check out my other videos if you need clarification on like midpoints or other things that I'm talking about in advanced astrology and you're confused in this video. I have a bunch of videos. So let's keep going. So 2 to 3 key narratives per volume showing different facets of the timeline. 1 political historical epic. 1 intimate personal story. 1 tale of cross-dimensional contact or crises. Philosophical appendices on the existential implications of each lock. Further volumes will cover the Gemini lock, Cancer lock, Leo lock, Virgo lock, Libra lock, Scorpio lock, Sagittarius lock, Capricorn lock, Aquarius lock, Pisces lock, of course. The interdimensional framework, the aspect planes. So the 12 lock timelines do not exist in isolation. They relate to one another through aspect planes, metadimensions shaped by the angular relationships between their core zodiacal principles. The conjunction plane, the sextile plane, the square plane, trine plane, the opposition plane. So where 2 compatible timelines, for example, Aries and Leo, both fire, lead together, a chaotic, high-energy realm of merged traits. The sextile plane, a dimension of easy exchange and resource sharing between timelines, for example, Gemini and Aquarius, both air, the trading post of the multiverse. The square plane, a dimension of constant grinding, conflict, and evolutionary pressure, for example, Taurus versus Leo, a hellscape of irreconcilable values that forces adaptation. And we have the trine plane. I'm gonna keep switching colors, honestly. Fuck it, we're having fun. So the trine plane is a dimension of profound harmony and effortless flow. For example, fire trio is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Almost paradisiacal, but stagnant. And then we have the opposition plane, the most complex and rich dimension. Here, 2 opposing signs. I don't even think you can even see that. It's really dark. It's going for purple. So the most complex and rich dimension. So here, 2 opposing signs, for example, Cancer, Capricorn, which again, that's actually funny that I have that here because Tropic, Cancer. I would recommend you read these books. I forgot the author, but just look up Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn. Yeah. They manifest as a polarized binary system. A single world with 2 halves locked in eternal necessary tension. It's a crucible of consciousness. Also with Cancer and Capricorn, it's like what I was saying earlier with Aries and Libra, and that's its own axis. Well, Cancer and Capricorn are also their own axes, with Rahu, Ketu. This is just what I want the final volume to be. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. It got pretty long, I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, this was an exhaustive compendium of astrological realities, and I'll see you in the next one to teach you more.